Alright, so kind of give you some history where this tractor kind of came from, how I got to where I am today. I actually bought a house, and in the garage was a bunch of trash. And believe it or not, after we emptied all the trash out of there, you wouldn't believe what I found. Yeah, that's right, a 1951 Ford 8N, and it was disassembled, literally, down to the nut and bolt. Talked to the previous owner. He said, yeah, it was a working tractor at one time, and all the parts were there. So I was like, well, that's good news. We should be able to put her back together, and everything should be fine. As I started putting the tractor back together, I assembled the pump, and as I'm going through some of the boxes of bolts, parts, believe it or not, I found all brand new parts to the pump. So I figure, well, that's cool. I'll take the pump out, and we'll go from there. Well, it is a good thing I did, because now I just noticed that one of the pistons is cracked. You can see right here, it's separated. So we're going to take this apart and put it back together, because this is one of the things that when I was out on YouTube trying to figure out how to put this tractor back together, because remember, I got it, it was already disassembled, so I didn't actually get the chance to take it apart. So now I'm trying to put it back together with absolutely no knowledge of how to do it, other than the manuals from that we were able to get online. That and watching YouTube videos. So I'm going to show you how to take this apart, put it back together again, because if you guys ever have to take it apart, try to find out what the pieces are, how it works, this might save you a couple hours trying to figure it out like I did. Basically, 11/16 is going to be your biggest friend on this tractor. Everything on the tractor is 11/16. Here's a couple ones, other different sizes, but for the main part, you're going to find that all the bolts, especially on this pump, are all 11/16. If this is your first time doing the tractor, things I've started off with, I put this table out here as my workbench. All the parts, as I took them apart, I made myself a little parts washer. I take it apart, clean everything with a wire brush and a little bit of cleaning solvent in a little container like this, and then just kept disassembling and putting it back, cleaning it up, and then putting it back together. For the most part, I didn't have too much to tear apart. It was more of just clean it and assemble. When I put everything back together the first time, I put everything in there with assembly loop, so all the valves and that are coming out nice and easy, nothing stuck. So I guess it was a good thing I did all that. new gaskets I put on, so I'm going to protect them so we don't damage them. And basically everything now is should come right out. Same thing here, I lubed all this up prior to assembly. So this is that broken piston. It's supposed to look like that. So it's a good thing we found this out before I fill it all up with hydraulic fluid and had to drain it and be working with a mess. This is nice. Finding it now instead of later. Alright, well, I'm going to get all the new parts together and then we'll start putting it back together again. Alright. So to get these two plugs off the end here, 3/8 box ends is what I used to get them. But the most important part is this piece here. Let's see if we can show you. That's the bottom of the valve seat. Okay. Now they get all rusted up and stuck in the bottom. What it is, it took a number 1 Phillips head, jammed it down in there, and popped it right out. So there's a trick for hopefully for getting those stupid things out. Then what I used is pull out the gun cleaning kit and just use a shotgun size brass brush. Go down there and clean out all the ports and get all the rust out. Seemed to work pretty good. So once you get all your new parts, they'll come in plastic like that. You want all your new bushings. Lay everything out. Like I said, I put a little bit of assembly lube on everything the first time I put it back together to help, with the pre-start up so the hydraulic fluid gets in there. But we're going to put all new pistons in and get rid of all this old crap. And hopefully it won't leak and it'll be good for many, many more miles. Alright, so now we get all the parts cleaned up. Kind of see how things go back together. Obviously, this is the piston. That's going to actuate the hydraulic fluid and pump it up. And then there's the valve assemblies. I'm going to take these valves. There's the valve seat and the actual individual valves. And then I'm going to reassemble them back in there. And here's your springs. The upper part of the valve. Two springs here. Separate those two puppies apart. There you go. And we'll show you how this all goes together. Alright, so show you how to assemble the valves. Basically you got your rod That's that bottom valve seat, so that's a small one. Next is the smaller valve. You put down small spring, the larger valve, finally your larger spring, and then last, top of the valve assembly. It sits, so the whole assembly will sit like that inside each one of these. So each one of these setups has to go like that in there. So we'll put those two pieces in last. With these two in, I've already pre-lubed mine. Like I said, all I do is put like a little dab of assembly lube in there. You put like a little drop in each pore here. Sticky stuff. Like that. That sits down in there nice. That way all your parts are pre-lubed prior to you firing it down the hole. We get our pre-assembled one here. We'll do the first one. Go figure. I'll see. Went in upside down. And the nice thing about the assembly lube is a little sticky. It'll hold your parts together. Let's try that one more time. Right, this time without the compressor running. We'll do the same thing here. We'll build a little more of these puppies back up again. Just did a little bit of assembly lube on this. Nice. Helps actually sticking so that the valve seat doesn't fall off like it did the first time. Small spring, larger valve, and that whole assembly. You go right inside there. Feel when it. Gotta be kidding me. Try that again. Okay, once they're all in there, now you can put your larger spring top piece on. And then your retainers go on. We got the 11/16. We'll torque these later once it's the main body's bolted back on the housing. There is how you assemble the valves. Next we'll throw the gasket on. They get bolted to the sides, but before we do that, we're going to start putting these together. I'll build the other side and then I'll be right back.